If you're thinking of getting a Boss MS-3 for use on your Sunday service pedal board, I'm here to tell you that it's a good investment if you can live with some of its quirks. Let's get to it. At $599 Singapore dollars, MS-3 appears to be a much more affordable option for multi-effects than the Line 6 HX effects, the added bonus being that you have 3 FX loop inserts. This is roughly the extent of what most gear reviews of the MS-3 will tell you, boasting of extreme functionality and a vast collection of boss effects. But there should be a giant asterisk next to that sentence and some fine print specifying the limitations that come with the unit. And this is where no one seems to have filled in the knowledge gap, so let me fill you in on what you should know about the MS-3 before you buy it. First, and perhaps most annoyingly, there's very limited flexibility in choosing what goes into the signal chain even though you have 112 effects. There are 6 effect blocks that you can fill up, but you can't freely choose 6 overdrives or 6 delays like you can with the Line 6 ecosystem. You're locked into choosing specific effects in an effects category, and every signal chain must have 2 modulations, 1 delay, and 1 reverb. The last 2 blocks, called FX blocks, have some flexibility in that it's a catch-all category for drives, pitch, synth, and specialty effects like the acoustic and sitar simulator. So you're really stuck with 1 delay block and 1 reverb block. That's not a lot of blocks for Sunday, but wait, there's more. There's 1 delay in this FX block, which I'll tell you about when I eventually do a rig rundown of my pedal board integrated with the HX Stomp. And hopefully, that will show you the best configuration of pedals that make sense in a Sunday service context. Secondly, there's no freely arranging the signal chain order of the pedals in loops. Loop 1 always feeds into loop 2, which always feeds into loop 3. There's no way to reorder loop 3 into loop 1 and 2. Additionally, you're locked into loops 1, 2, and 3 as a big block, with no ability to insert effects between the loops. Thirdly, MIDI implementation is strangely crippled. Most bafflingly, there's no MIDI import, so the MS-3 can't receive messages in the MIDI signal chain integrating several instruments together. But USB MIDI in is functional, and I've confirmed that the MS-3 can at least receive MIDI clock for tempo sync. This is a huge relief for me as I'm an Ableton Live user in a worship setting. Related to this, and potentially off-putting for Strymon users, you can't send program change messages while in the patch. You can only send them when you change presets on the MS-3. You have to adopt the Jeffrey Cundy style of preset management on the Strymon pedals, where each bank on the Strymons is dedicated to 1 song and vis-a-vis 1 preset on the MS-3.
The way I run these pedals is that each bank is a song, and then within each bank I have an A preset and a B preset. So for every song I have 1 delay setting, and then another delay setting, 1 reverb setting, and then another reverb setting.
Is this limiting? Yes, but may I suggest that 2 delays and 3 reverbs are more than enough for 1 song. Fourthly, the tone is uniquely Boss. Dialing in the delays and reverbs have that unmistakable Boss vibe. In my analog days, I had a DD20 and have played with an RV5, and so it was instant nostalgia dialing in those sounds. Now that may or may not be a desirable trait considering everyone in church wants Strymon-like sounds on their church board. Make no mistake about it, this is 100% Boss, and you won't get any Strymon sounds out of this. To decide if the delay and reverb sounds are up to your liking, I recommend listening to high quality demos of the DD20 and RV5 or RV6. And for further listening, check out Boss's updates of their own products, namely the DD500 and the RV500. But it's still great for Sunday. Despite these 4 big quirks of the MS-3, I still think this unit is an excellent choice for Sunday service guitarists looking for a master control center, incredible sonic quality and fidelity in the effects. Here's one big reason why I would still recommend the MS-3 despite its quirks. Flexibility in control. My favorite feature of the MS-3 isn't its sounds, which are really good, just to be clear. It's the fact that controller implementation is thorough and truly flexible. Every switch on the MS-3 can be configured to do a variety of things, whether it's toggling effects on or off, using it as a tap tempo with a BPM display, or get this, expression control. One of my favorite sounds is the S-bend on the PS6 Harmless, and it's available here on the MS-3, with the ability to do whammy sounds without a whammy pedal. I can also configure one button press to do a whole host of parameter changes. One of my external switches is a favorite switch for ambient swells. When I press it, the loops are bypassed so that my signal is clean, the chorus of my MS-3 is enabled, and a MIDI CC message gets sent to my HX Stomp to switch to a snapshot, turning on the shimmer reverb and cranking the compression. This enables me to go from a lead sound to an ambient sound with one button press. Before we carry on, are you finding value in this video? If you are, hit the like button as it lets me know that content like this is relevant for you, encourages me to make more like this, and YouTube sends it out to more people. If you're a church musician on the same journey, consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon. This next feature of the MS-3 controller implementation completely blows the Line 6 ecosystem out of the water. You see, we Line 6 users are used to a certain level of stupidity in controller assignment. If you're on the Helix and you happen to assign the volume and the wah to the same EXP control, what happens? You trigger both the volume and the wah at the same time. This is why you need to double check that your volume and wah are assigned separately to EXP1 and EXP2, and depressing the foot switch under the expression pedal changes the EXP control. I can attest that the MS-3 is a much smarter controller, and here's why. I have a Dunlop mini volume functioning as an expression pedal wired into EXP1 on the MS-3. By default, the MS-3 assigns EXP1 as volume control. So far, this is identical to Line 6 implementation. But here's a fun and really smart thing about the MS-3. On this preset, I have a wah also assigned to EXP1. The second external switch is my wah bypass switch. When I turn the wah on, don't just check out what happens, check out what doesn't happen. The volume pedal ignores EXP1 movement when the wah is engaged. Line 6, why isn't this a thing? Now I can seamlessly use the MS-3's volume and wah, which has caused me to ditch my Hotone volume wah combo pedal. It's cleaner, one less component that can fail, and now it frees up my setup for one more pedal. Maybe another reverb? Which brings us to you. Are you considering a Boss MS-3, and if so, do you have any queries that I or other fellow MS-3 users can help answer? If you're an MS-3 user, please share your favorite sound combinations and controller schemes. I'd love for everyone to be able to benefit from your experience. Let me know in the comment section below. I was considering a rig rundown of this board, but it's not been finalized yet since I learned about that amazing feature of the volume and wah not conflicting with each other on the same EXP assignment. I do want to add one more pedal to the board, and it's likely going to be my Nunober Inmers Mark II. You should be able to check it out in a thumbnail appearing here sometime. In the meantime, I do have other rig rundowns in my pedal boredom series that you can check out right here. I'll see you there. Till next time, I'm Justin, and I'm all about worship guitar.